My God.
I'm sure he gets told plenty.
I'm sure.
That was the game that we like had that psychological torture on the other
Oh
hooker.
my God.
Do you remember that story?
Yeah.
Max, have you heard that story?
I have not.
Go over it, please.
Oh, you'll like this story. So this is also the story of how I blew out my shoulder. So we go undefeated in our regular season. Yeah. And we had this massive scoring thing. We were ranked top thing. We had just took third the nation. We're coming back, but we got to qualify first. So we got to drive about 11 hours to Columbia, Missouri to play and win 2 matches to get to nationals. First day we play University of California, Pennsylvania, I think.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of giant fucking dudes.
They were chubs.
Like giant.
But they were huge.
Like where did you find these?
Like human
fucker
refrigerators?
guys?
Yeah.
Like just giant fuckers. Yeah, but they're all out of shape. So like the first half was pretty good, but we kind of played our cards right, and then we just ran them into the ground in the second half. We ended up winning by like 40 points, I want to say.
Something like that.
It was a good match. But
we won by 40 points. It was a good match.
It was a good match until we started winning by 40 points.
Yeah.
So we get done. Other team starts. It's like Wayne State versus Jake State or some other small college.
Like Jake
Wayne
from
was
State Farm?
Yes. Might as well
maybe.
be.
But Wayne's men's team ended up getting voted team of the decade. So they were kind of coming back. They were trying to go to nationals and like put a good stamp on it. They were a good team. So after our game, we go over there and we're all sitting watching these guys. And they're really good. They're moving the ball well. They're fast. They're doing great. And Jake State has a couple of runaways, but they end up winning their game by like 60. Whole time, me and our coach at the time, Gertz, we're taking notes. We're putting in plans. So all night we kind of strategized. We ended up going to Hooters, but there was like 40 of us. It was a hoot. But so we put in this great game plan. We got up there that morning. Everything just goes right. Everyone's in the right spot. We got it's just right. Like we finally figured it out after a whole season of not knowing who's going in next. We had it on lock. And so I think they kicked off to us or we kicked off to them. No, they kicked off to us because we started with the ball.
Yeah.
But so they kick off to us. We're freaking ramped up. We're all excited. 2 passes off to the winger. Jerry enters the line. He scores. So first points are on the board. Not 30 seconds into the game. Like immediate score. Boom. And I'm like, okay, we're just hot. We always start hot. That's how this works. It'll be fine. We gotta keep playing. It's a long game. So then we kick to them. They have possession. I think they run 2 phases, and we stop them cold, if not for a loss. And I'm like, we're still hot. It's just the start of it.
Yep.
And then I think we took a ruck, 2 passes, scored. Not a minute in, we had 2 scores on the board, and they had made negative meters. And in my head, I went, there's no way this keeps going. Like, they're the team of the deck. Like, they're going to play a good game. And then we kicked off to them, and I don't think they touched it. I think Jerry, our super athlete, literally caught it, and then everyone else went, did he just catch that? And he had scored before the team had even realized what happened. So we were up 3 scores onto our 4th kickoff in 2 minutes. And I just knew it. I just felt it in my bones. I've been on a lot of teams and played a lot of games, and I just knew that one just freaking broke the whole game wide open. And it did. So we ended up scoring about at that pace the whole time. So we walked into halftime, and it was 40-0.
Holy shit.
Right.
Team of the decade.
That was the scoring pace. Team of the decade.
Yes.
So we're gonna back up a sec, and we're gonna loop back to that psychological terror now that we set the scene.
This is what I'm here for.
Right. So for the rugby illiterate, when somebody drops the ball forward, if it touches the ground, say I throw it to Max and he's running forward, it bounces off his chest and hits the ground.
As usual.
That's called a knock, and it results in a scrum. A scrum is this amalgamation of 8 people on each side, with the hooker being kind of the tip of the spear. The idea is that the scrum half will roll in the ball to their hooker. Their hooker will then reach out with their foot and hook the ball, grab it, and slide it back, and that's how they maintain possession. So if the other team drops the ball, if they knock it on, then we get the put. And usually, if you get the put, you get the ball. So if you get a couple steals a game, it's a big deal as a hooker. But it's also a very intimate affair between hookers. So when you're a hooker, your arms are behind the people around you, and you're hanging off the ground. You're being held up off the ground. Being a hooker is also one of the most dangerous positions in all of sport, because if the people around you fail, both hookers will die instantly because their necks will break. So there's this weird kind of morbid camaraderie between the two hookers. So usually you start in the first scrum, you go, hey, I'm Keegan. We'll be safe today. You do you. If you have any questions, let me know, whatever. And then we'll be fun, and you say jokes back and forth. But you talk as hookers because you need to be able to communicate because you don't want to die. This guy didn't want to do that. So I'm pretty undersized for a hooker. This guy was smaller than I was, a couple inches shorter, probably 20 pounds lighter. Like, he was pretty not big, and he was a crab ass. So we get into our first one. I go, hey, I'm Keegan. Like, where are you from? What's your story here? He doesn't even acknowledge me. He looks around, checks, make sure everyone's good, and he goes, down, bind, set, or whatever his calls was. But he screams them right in my face. And his guys just kind of, and they get all down, and then we get down, and we don't do that. So we just kind of get into position like a bunch of hyenas that you train to tackle stuff. And then it was their put, and we all kind of, that first scrum is always kind of weird because you don't know what the other team's coming with. And we just kind of pushed them back, and I hooked the ball, and it was just this really slow, quiet scrum that we stole. And in my head, I'm like, is this going to happen all game? Like, the scoring, is this how this is going to be? And then I was like, yeah, it is. So get to our next scrum, same thing, slow steal, like just kind of a demoralizing. I'm just going to take that steal, and I go, oh yeah, we're done. This is going to be a great game for everybody wearing this jersey, not that jersey. Speaking of jerseys, they had these beautiful brand new kits.
Yes.
There's a lot of parts in this story. It's a long one.
Remember, they're team of the
So
decade.
we're in these scrums, team of the decade. They just got new kits. They got beautiful uniforms, shiny,
Beautiful.
fresh out of the box uniform.
Armor
right?
all.
And I grew up. I wore black and gold. They're black and gold. They were select uniforms, man. They were great. They were shiny. They were cool. So we get into this third scrum, and I notice how shiny these shorts are, especially. They're like mirror finished rugby shorts, and I'm like, how do you get them so shiny, let alone keep them so shiny? So we get into our third scrum, and I go, hey, dude, great uniforms, by the way. I don't know if you designed them or what, if you had anything part of it, but they're awesome. But, like, from a laundry perspective, how do you keep your shorts so shiny? And he looks at me like I was made out of pure human stupidity. And I know that look. I get it a lot, so I recognize it. And there was a deep little ember of hatred in there. And I'm like, oh, that's going to grow today. I can just feel it. And so we took it again. I don't think he won a hook all day.
No.
And every single time we came to a scrum, I would look at him right in his eyes, and I'd be like, dude, how do you get your shorts so shiny? You're playing great. How do you keep your shorts so shiny? Dude, how you got to tell me, what's your secret? Do you use Dawn? Do you pre-soak them? How do you keep your shorts so shiny? How do you keep your shorts so shiny? Dude, how do you keep... And this whole time, the score is rising, and they're starting to... Their team talk is getting me like, guys, like, it's gonna be our last team, like, game as a team. Like, we gotta enjoy playing as a team. We had a great season. And when that talk comes out, you know you're done.
You're fucked.
And this guy went from yelling to kind of talking to just being dead silent. So by halftime, he had resorted to trying to kick me in the scrums. Like, after the thing was over, he would try and kick me. He was playing dirty. He was hitting guys late. He wasn't talking to his coaches. He wasn't taking water. He wasn't talking to his teammates. Whenever there was huddles, he would just kind of mill around somewhere else while everyone else was talking and planning. And so I knew we were starting to get under this guy's skin. So we hit halftime. It's 40-0. It is 40-0 at half. That's what we call an ass whooping. And we're like, We got our subs in. We're putting in who we thought we were going to put in. Game's going perfect. Let's keep on our plan. We put in a couple of our killers. They don't have any answers. So we come into second half. We're hot again. And this guy, still mad, oddly enough, didn't calm down. So he starts hitting guys late. Like, pass the ball, 2-3 seconds, take a couple steps, look around, get tackled by this guy. And we're used to that. Like, we play a lot of dirty players, and he wasn't that big, and he wasn't hitting that hard. So our guys were pretty big, and they would just kind of go, oh, good hit, and then they would help him up. And he was mad, and it wasn't helping. And every time in those scrums, like, how do you keep your shorts so shiny? How do you keep your shorts so shiny? Eventually, he tackles Noah, who's Marcus's roommate. And I hope Noah hears this because Noah's one of the most proficient smack talkers that I've ever met, because he's not nice. He's just mean. Like, it's not a fun thing for him. He's not trying to get in your head. He's trying to, like, put venom into your soul that you will need therapy to get out.
Yeah.
And this guy tackles Noah. And Noah gets up and just starts berating this man. I'm like, dude, you're down by 60. Why the fuck are you doing that? Like, what's the score right now? It's like 60-0. What's the score right now? How was Nationals last year? They just missed out. They had to watch us play in their spot. How was Nationals last year? Just digging into this guy. And you could just see this guy's posture kind of like bulge, and he just gets gradually sadder. And eventually I pulled Noah off, and I'm like, you don't need to make this worse for this guy. I got this on lock. Next time we're in the scrum, how'd you get your shorts so shiny? And you can just see this guy breaking in his eyes. Like, he's so mad that he can't fathom what's happening. The world is falling apart around this man. Eventually, he gets stepped on, or he's bleeding or something. And so I point at him, I'm like, hey, you're bleeding, man. You should, next time there's one of these things, you should take a stop, and you should go get taken care of so you can come back in so you don't miss anything, because you're playing great, man. You got your shiny shorts, you're playing great. We take the scrum, we take the ball, throw it out, we dropped it again. We're back in the scrum. So I go, hey man, you got to get that checked out. I don't want you to bleed on nothing. You got these nice jerseys. You can wipe it on me if you want. I got black and red jerseys. We're used to the blood. And unsolicited, the person next to me, Josh, he looks and goes, dude, you're bleeding. You should get that taken care of. And this guy snaps on Josh. He's like, oh, I'm bleeding. And Josh just goes, I don't know if you got anything, man. That's why we take care of blood the way we do. And he goes, I don't have anything. You got AIDS or whatever. And I'm like, that's a weird comeback. And then he wipes the blood on me anyway. So I'm like, this man is broken entirely. His soul is broken. We have it just in a jar on our mantle, just hanging out. So now it's like 73-3 or whatever. We're up by 70 points. It's like the last 5 minutes of the last game of the season. Yeah, they scored a couple bullshit tries. Like, we took everybody out kind of thing. Let the seniors play. It was like seniors and freshmen. That's how those games work. And it's like the last 4 minutes, and they finally stop us on our own like 5. So we punt it out. I was in pretty good shape, so I'm chasing this punt. And I'm full out sprinting. I'm going. It's like a full 40-yarder. I'm feeling amazing. Got my second win. I'm all strided out, hauling ass. And there's this guy. And he's back there. I don't know why he's back there, but that's where he is. So that ball, it's a rugby ball, so it's kind of the shape like a football. It bounced perfectly on its side, about 10 feet into the air, perfectly sideways. And then it fell down like a knuckleball, and that guy caught it right in front of his face, so he couldn't see me. I'm probably 5 meters out at this point, at a dead clip. I could not be going any faster. That's the fastest I've ever run. And this guy was standing perfectly straight up, exposing his guts, with no way to defend himself. And Max just cracked a smile because he knows. I had an internal thought. I go, hey, you got 2 options here, Keegan. You're a good guy. You could just tackle him. You could break down. You could tackle him correctly. You could posture up. You could take this ball and probably run a good bit before they catch you. Maybe even score. Or this guy's been a dick. He's been a dick to you. He's been yelling in your face. He's been bleeding on you. Been a dick to all your teammates. You could just tackle this guy like really hard. And I gotta say, I'm not proud of it, but I chose the second option. And I felt this man's spine
proud of it.
Through his front. I hit this guy so hard that I had a bruise from the front of his spine on my shoulder. I cut this motherfucker in half. Oh my Christ, I've never hit someone so hard in my life.
That's fun.
But here's the only problem. If we remember to the very beginning of the story, this is not a big feller. And we're in Missouri in November, so it's rock solid. It's like playing on pavement. I hit this motherfucker. We went straight into the ground. As soon as I hit the ground, left shoulder hits, tears everything. Shoulder dislocates. I roll over. He gets up and runs away. Hopefully I hurt his pride. I don't know. But my shoulder's shredded. I feel it slide back in. I got a lump. Athletic trainers run up and hustle me off. I'm laying on the ground on the sideline as the trainer watches my shoulder attempt to reassemble itself. I just remember him looking at me and go, ugh. And then I hear our coach yelling. They're running through my gap, and they're like, what the fuck? Where's Keegan? Like, I'm over here, Gertz. And he looks and he goes, shit. So I get up with the trainer. We go over. He's like, can you do this with your arm? I'm like, ah. You do this with your arm? Ah. And then the final whistle blows right as they give me an ice pack. So I'm like, I got to go take pictures. Goodbye, trainers that should tell me what's going on. But I left before you could tell me what to do. So we get out there. So in all these photos of us after our like 73-10 or 73-15 win, there's me gritting my teeth with this big ice pack. Everyone else is like, this is amazing. And I'm like, I'm fucked up, but I'm going to take pictures. So there's all these funny photos of me all jacked up. Here's the kicker for the story, though. We go to shake hands with the other team. He doesn't come shake hands. So I'm talking with some of their other guys, and I'm like, dude, I got to go shake this guy's hand. I've never hurt my shoulders. I've been rock solid across the chest my whole career. And he did play a really good game. He played a really good game, but just couldn't answer for it. So I go over there. I want to shake this guy's hand. I go, the only person I've ever hurt my shoulder on. You played a great season. That shouldn't have ended the way it did. Good luck next year. And I put my hand out. He doesn't even. He looks at me, pure hate, disgust. He's got a tear in his eye. He doesn't offer his hand, so I grab it, I shake it, and I run off. Eventually, I was walking over back to the athletic tent to get a second bag for my ice, talking to one of their coaches. He's like, oh, yeah, he's pretty sour. He came here from Britain because he wasn't good enough over there. He came here to win a national championship.
What a fucking prick.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck that dude.
Yeah,
he can
so
get fucked.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the story of my grade 3 full shoulder shred, dude.
What a story
Psychological
to end
terror
on.
until the end.
What a fucking story to end on.
I'm glad you liked that one.
That was good.
So many little details, but